And so we get to our final part of the thing, which is Best Picture. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank all the films from my least favorite to the top. So there's no 10 here, obviously. So we're going to go from ninth place up. All right. So some of you might be surprised. Some of my friends, actually, if they're watching this film, might be surprised when I say these rankings. But this is how I feel about it. For ninth place is The Kids Are All Right. Now, don't get me wrong. This film was enjoyable. This film was good. But however, one of my first qualms about this film was the actual title. The Kids Are All Right. What does that mean? At first I thought it meant the kids are all right. Like, oh yeah, they were raised pretty well, and so they turned out pretty all right. But no, it says all right, and so I'm thinking, were they all right about something? I don't know. It was confusing me. I don't think about it. Maybe I'm just overthinking about it. I don't have it higher up my list mainly because the characters kind of annoyed me actually. Ned Benning's characters and Mark Ruffalo characters kind of annoyed me a bit. I love the screenplay though. Like I said, I gave it the screenplay. I thought it was a good story to it, but I wasn't really pulled in all the way to it. It was a good film though nonetheless, but ninth place. For eighth place, I have Winter's Bone. Now it's funny because when I first saw this, I saw it in my home, watching it on TV, and I wasn't really invested into it to begin with. I just sat down on my computer, I was working on homework, just like looking up and looking down, and 10 minutes in I was like, you know what? This film needs my attention because it looks already good as it is. So I closed my laptop and just watched it and gave it the attention it deserved. At first I thought I was going to hate it, but I liked it. I did. And, maybe I don't think I'm the only person who thought this, but I thought there was going to be like a rape scene in the movie, because obviously it was the main character being like 17 years old. But then again, I could just be biased to the south. Biased? Biased. Regardless, I love Jennifer Lawrence's performance in it. It was great. And I love Teardrops of Point. That's not his name, but whatever. I love their acting in it. It was great. Number 7 is True Grit. Now, this film was kind of awesome to me. I give it props already, like I said earlier, to the costume and art direction, whatever. I love Jeff Bridges' acting in it. I love Haley Steinfeld's acting in it. It was great. Now, the thing is, I just love. The thing is, because like Winter's Bone and True Grit, they're almost like parallel to each other. Because one film has a girl trying to find her dad, and the other one has a girl trying to find the killer of her dad. And through this, we get to see how their conflicts arise and how their journey continues on, which is really cool in my opinion. Number 6 is 127 Hours. I enjoyed this film. Of course, I cringed at a lot of the parts. I cringed at the part where the rock landed on his arm, and I cringed at the part where he's trying to cut that muscle tendon. Oh god, it still gives me shivers just thinking about it. But damn, that was so believable. I looked at that, I was like, yeah, this guy. It was awesome. It was amazing. I loved it. It was great. It was funny too because the original, I only saw it yesterday, which was February 19th. And the reason why I didn't see it earlier was because when I saw the commercials for it, I thought, dude, this guy looks like a douchebag. And don't ask me why I thought that. It was just the commercials portrayed him as a douchebag. And he clearly wasn't in the film. He was awesome. Number 5, Inception. Inception was a great film. I really loved this film. It was the intelligent summer blockbuster film of the year. And I thought Christopher Nolan did a great job with this film. It was very original, and I just loved the concept in it. One of the things I liked about this film was the several different layers of dreams there were. And it's great because I read an article about Inception where Christopher Nolan purposely made each of the layers like a different color. So then people, when they see each of the dreams, they'll know which one they're at, which layer they're at, just by looking at their environment. And if you think about it, this makes sense because the first layer, which takes place in New York City when it's raining, is mostly gray, and the second dream takes place in the hotel is mostly brown, and then the third dream it takes place on the mountain, which is mostly white. So whenever we cut back to certain scenes of the movie, certain dreams, then we'll know which ones it is just by looking at it. And it's just things like that to help the audience along, really. I just thought it was ingenious, too. However, I still had to see the movie twice in order to get it, and so, but I didn't mind. I liked it nonetheless. The soundtrack was great. I love Leonardo DiCaprio's character in it, and it was a long time since I last seen him in any film, so it was great to see him again too. I liked it overall. Yes, the plot can be a little convoluted at times, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. Number 4, Toy Story 3. Now, I love Toy Story. I love Pixar films in general. And what was great about Toy Story was that I saw it, the first one, when I was 8 years old. And then basically I was almost like I grew up with Andy as the movies progressed, as the 3 movies progressed. So it was very enduring to me in that aspect. I enjoyed this movie a lot. Two of my favorite scenes in the movie would be Mr. Tortilla Head and the scene where Buzz Lightyear's Spanish mode comes on. So that was very funny. I liked it. The problem I have with this film, kind of like the last 2 Pixar films, Up and WALL-E, was that it was so sad. Like, damn. That ending scene, it just got like that tear rolling down me. And I'm just, I don't know if I'm the only one here, but I'm missing the old traditional Pixar films that are not depressing. Like, my favorite Pixar film overall is Ratatouille, which is uplifting, had a great characters, great romantic storyline there, and it's funny because that was right before all the string of depressing films. But hopefully, with Cars 2 coming out, you won't see any more depressing things unless Mater dies or something like that. Number 3, The Social Network. Now, when I first heard there was going to be a movie about Facebook, I, like a lot of other people, were kind of in doubt that could work. But it did. It really worked, and I loved it. One of the things that appealed me to this movie that was almost like a court case, only without the court. I kind of like these movies, like 12 Angry Men, for instance. But I just love all the legal work that goes into it, and the characters were appealing to me as well, even though they were kind of like douchebags. But I love the setting of it overall, and I love the soundtrack for it. Even though I didn't give The Social Network Best Original Sound Score, I still liked it nonetheless. It had a very nice feeling to it. But I think the best part about this movie is the fact that a lot of people of my age feel connected to this film because it makes us feel like that we're a part of it, that we helped made this global internet phenomenon come true. And it really connects you on that kind of level, and I really like that connection. It's something that I don't really have in terms for the other movies like King's Speech and The Kids Are All Right. I feel a good connection to the topic at hand here. And I really enjoy this movie, and I can't wait to actually buy it on Blu-ray. Number 2, The King's Speech. I know, right? A lot of people put The King's Speech as the number 1 on their list, but after giving it some thought, I realized that Black Swan was slightly better than King's Speech, but we'll get to that later. I said earlier how I love the 2 main actors in this film, so I won't really get into them again. But I do love the overall setting of this film, in general the 1930s. And I just love the whole idea of it in general, how a king who has a speech problem, was able to overcome this to become a better leader and speak for the people. And I just love it how these kinds of films work like that. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is the part where Bertie, or King George, found out that Lionel wasn't actually a real doctor. And the whole interaction between the two characters was really emotional. I really loved that scene. It had both humor and it had like emotional drama to it. Overall, I love the King's Speech, and if it gets Best Picture, then I wouldn't be disappointed. But for my number one favorite film of the year would have to be Black Swan. And there's a word that can describe this film, and that word is romantic. Now, in this case, I don't mean romance as in two people loving each other. I mean romantic as the fact that it's highly emotional. It's not very logical, though. I just love those kind of films. And at first, when I went to the theater, I was kind of unsure about it. Like, the first 15 minutes in, I was like, okay, Black Swan, let's see what you got. And then 15 minutes in, I was like, damn, this is gonna be good. I love everything about this film. One of the things I like about it is it had a whole bunch of classical music, of course, from the Swan Queen, and I love classical music. And they did a great job putting the classical the movements at the right moments in the movie, and it really helped build the tension and drama in it. I also love the hallucination scenes, and I also cringed at them too. Like the part where Natalie Portman's character visits the retired ballet dancer in the hospital, and she looks up at her and she goes, "Nothing, nothing, nothing, nothing." That part like creeped me out the first time I saw it. And one other part that actually creeped me out was the part where Natalie Portman she takes the door and she slams it into her mother's fingers. That gave me the chills there too, actually. But one of my favorite scenes overall is the part where she fully transforms into the Black Swan, where she kills Mila Kunis, and then she becomes the Black Swan on stage. Oh my god, I just love that scene so much. And then I just love it even more when she comes back to her dressing room and there's no body, there's no blood. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck just happened? I was losing my own mind as well. One last thing about the film, which I kind of find funny, is the fact that a lot of people, while they were watching the film, they thought, "Oh yeah, I know how this is going to end," which is funny because I didn't know how this was going to end. Even though if I just sat there and thought about it, I would probably realized what it would be. But when the ending happened, I was really shocked then, and I just loved it even more because of which. It's romantic and it's over dramatic, but that's why I love it. All the actors and actresses did a great job in it, and all the hallucination scenes were just creepy as all get out. So that's it for my Oscar review. I hope you're able to see all three parts of it, and I am looking forward to this Sunday to see the Oscars. So yeah, here's hoping that all the ones I said came true. Alright, thanks for watching. See you guys later.